Hi, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G. Back at y'all another episode of Running With You. And I ain't even much gonna really have no intro to this, man. Basically, she 33, 7 kids, looking for a husband. Let's go ahead on and see what she got to say, bro. Let's get straight into it.
I'm a mom of 7 and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay. So this is a little, hold on. We're talking about 7 children. Okay. This is no offense to you because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man. What makes it a tad bit difficult is that you have to find a man who has the financial footing to take care of you and 7 children. And then you also have to be able to find a man who is going to be willing to come in and create structure in that household. 7 children on one person is a lot to create structure in. So there.
Okay, let's go ahead on. She asked the first question. Sometimes it ain't about how many kids you got, it's about how many kids fathers you have. So 7 kids, well, 1 child father. It's 2 dynamics to that. The first dynamic is that's better than having 7 kids with maybe 4 different dads or 5 different dads. But one would have to think to themselves, 7 kids with 1 person. A lot of people talk about soul ties and a lot of people talk about soul mates and stuff. One person might think, man, that's a lot of history with somebody. You know, you have to been through a lot to have 7 kids with somebody to just completely move on. And can you trust a person that has 7 kids with someone and not feel like they could rekindle things? You know, I was just talking to a single mother not too long ago, and the child was kind of young. That's another thing. How young are the kids? You know, sometimes people can't do no kids when it comes to the kids being so young, because if the kids are that young, it's not enough time went by for y'all to have those feelings go away. So the girl I was talking to, the kid was young. She kind of seen things weren't really going that far with me, so she went on ahead and asked me an ultimatum: is, you know, does she see stuff going any further with me, or she just gonna go back to her baby daddy because they've been talking, trying to make things work out? And a lot of dudes have to have that in mind, like, you know, sometimes the child father could see the girl getting close with another man, and now they can come in and try to just, you know, feel like, man, let me go ahead on and get her back. You know, sometimes it ain't even much about them loving them. It's about they just don't want to see them with nobody else but them. You know, so one might have to think like, damn, 7 kids, you might have to worry about that type of stuff going on. You know, and also, like she said, you got to worry about the financial part. You know, 1 or 2 kids in this economy is hard because you have to worry about yourself. You have to worry about the kids that you may have. Now you got to worry about another adult, and you got to worry about all that their kids. And that's basically, you know, without the man having any kids of his own, you got the 7 kids, you got her, that's 8, and you got yourself, that's 9. So you got to damn to take care of double-digit people in this economy, which is going to be hard. So, but I would like to tell y'all, there's still a possibility that you can find somebody, because my auntie, she married a man, and my auntie had 10 kids. Now, you might not get the man that you want as your first choice, but you can always get a man. You know, that's the thing.
There's a lot that this man is going to have to come in and do. On top of that, creating a secure space for you when you have to be a mother and you have to take care of the majority of the things that happen in a house. Are you going to have the ability to be able to love this man in a way that he needs to be loved, in a way that registers as love to him when you have to love 7 other individuals? You're going to need a man who can love those children as his own.
Yep.
That is a huge responsibility to put on a person who does not have those children. Those are not his kids. Right. But if I were you, no disrespect, I'll try to work it out with the father.
No, hear me out. Hold on.
And then you also have to.
It's easy when people tell someone, oh, you need to just go ahead on and try to work it out with the father. You need to try to go ahead on and work it out with the mother, when you don't know what these people that went through. You know, maybe those 7 kids that she had with this man, Maybe times were good, but when the times were bad, the times were bad. You know, you don't know what she dealt with that man. So it's easy to say that. Now, if y'all breaking up for petty reasons, then I agree. Go ahead on and get back with the mother of your kids. Get back with the father of your kids, because if their stuff is petty and stuff can easily be worked out through conversation and compromise, it is not worth going back out in the dating market, and you're going to be dealing with a whole lot of other bullshit people too. For the most part, you're going to have to deal with some type of bullshit regardless. Even with your kids, you love your kids dearly, but out those 7 kids, I'm pretty sure she deal with a lot of bullshit with these 7 kids. So if you're going to deal with bullshit with your kids, you're going to deal with bullshit with a partner, you know. And also, you're going to have some type of ground rules, like out these 7 kids. The man ain't gonna be able to just discipline all these kids like how he would want to, because it's not his kids. So you're gonna have to take on a lot of responsibility as far as disciplining these kids, and the oldest gonna have to take on a lot of responsibility. Like out the 7 kids, let's just say the oldest is 17, the second oldest is 15, the third oldest is 14. Those 3 out those 7 kids are gonna have to, you know, starting to help out around the house when it comes to dealing with the middle and the younger kids, you know. So that'll take a lot off the man's plate. All the man is basically doing is giving the boys, you know, valuable information, you know, teaching them how to be a man, you know, being able to have advice for the girls, all the boys, vice versa, and be able to be there financially. But the woman is going to have to be in the house and be cooking and have things ready and tidy, and you don't have much leverage, you know. All that, oh, I'm not trying to be in the house being a slave and all, because a lot of women think submitting to their man and being in the house is slave work. But if you get a man that's willing to take that on, you better compromise and go ahead on and know that you possibly got something good that is very scarce out here, and take what you can get, you know. But it is still a possibility that you can find love with multiple kids. Like, it's not a death sentence. It's not a automatic write-off. Is it a red flag? Yes. Is it a huge burden and a ton of baggage? Yes. But somebody can still be able to, you know, love you for you. If you're a very good woman, if you're a genuinely good woman, and you had 7 kids with 1 man, but for whatever reason y'all broke up and you just cannot see yourself back with him, it is another man that will accept you and your kids, you know, especially if your youngest kids are, you know, very good mannered, very respectful. Like, it's another thing when you have kids, but it's another thing when your kids is disrespectful, ill mannered, and, you know, just not pleasant to be around. Because I think a lot of women, they have bad kids, they don't police the bad kids' bad behavior, and it starts to become a thing where the kids run amok and they run a lot of the men off, you know. Now when a man have kids, a lot of times the woman keeps the kids, so the woman don't really too much have to deal with a man kid's baggage, you know. But when it comes to a man, it's the opposite way. So I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Have y'all experienced dating someone with multiple kids, or do you have multiple kids and experienced the dating market, or have you had a friend that had multiple kids, and can you share what happened? Let me know down in the comment section below. Go ahead on and hit the like button if you like the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. What you're waiting on. Until next time, I'm out.